We've spent billions of dollars to show that it does not protect our children. It does not reduce the number of success. It does not reduce whether they'll get involved in pregnancy. And what it does, though, is they're more likely to not use a latex condom. And they're more likely to have more partners without protection. So I'm saying that education empowers our young people. You know, and very often they tell me, "But Dr. Elders, you know, condoms will break." I said, "That's right, they will." I said, "But always remember that the vows of abstinence break far more easily than those latex condoms." That we understand the position that we're putting our children in and do the things we need to do. You know, we have some people who just sit on God's judgment seat and try and make decisions. But while I was in Washington and certainly in Arkansas, I never met not one policymaker that I thought knew enough, who loved enough, and who could judge enough to sit on God's judgment seat to make those kinds of decisions. Yeah. So we've got to be sure. I think that teenage pregnancy is still a major issue. We've moved a long way. We've accomplished a lot. And I think the fact that you've maintained Medicaid funding of abortion, one of only 17 states, pat yourself on the back. It makes no sense what we do. And even with that, the recent data which your committee collected show that you spent $38 million. If we went to Congressman Webster and asked her for $38 million, she said, "What are you talking about? We don't have that kind of money to throw away." But every year, you abuse the young people of this state, year after year, throwing away $38 million on what you spend on welfare, what you spend on prisons. Children born to children are far more likely to end up in your prison system. And I bet you spend more on, like every other state in this nation, you spend more on the cost of keeping one young person in prison than you would spend to send them to West Virginia State University. So I'm just saying, we need to think about what we're doing and try and make sure we do it better. We have the highest teen pregnancy rate the United States as a whole does in the industrialized world. And West Virginia's is higher than average with the higher than the average United States. Yours is 43.4 per thousand. The United States is 40.5. This is for young teenagers. So, of course, for African American teenagers, it's 103 per thousand. But for children in Japan, it's less than a tenth of ours. It's only 3 or 4 per thousand. So this is a problem that we've got to honestly address and honestly deal with. We've got to stop legislating morals and start dealing with what really makes a difference in our young people. I call the failure to educate our young people and provide them comprehensive health and sexuality education from kindergarten through 12th grade. I call it child abuse. Because because of our failure to educate, we've sentenced them the poverty, ignorance, and enslavement. You have almost 2 million, 1.8 million people in your state, 400,000 less than 18. And you need to make sure that we prepare all of our young people that we need to be properly cared for. To give you an idea, that we always say, well, our children are not having sex until they're married. Well, your children having sex, but mine don't have sex. But do you know that a CDC study that was completed in 04-05 found that 25% of girls, all teenagers from 15 to 18, 25% of them had a sexually transmitted disease. 25%. 49.9% of black teenagers, girls, this is not the boys, this is just the girls, had a sexually transmitted disease. So this is these are real issues. So that said that our children, these were based on cultures. This was on the survey that we are running around doing all the time, and they cultured them. So this is not guessing. And so this we've got to, again, something we've got to understand and deal with and accept that this is what's happening. Every year in this country, we have 56,000 people who get HIV disease. 56,000 new people who are infected with HIV. We have more than 1.5 million with HIV now. We were all thrilled to death. Teenage pregnancy went down 34%. Nationally, it went down 40+%. In black teenagers, it went down 25% in West Virginia. That was from 1991 to 2004-05. Guess what? We were all petrified about HIV then, probably. It's going up again. And so we're starting back on our path, and that was because we've not educated our children to protect themselves. We've got to have comprehensive health education in our schools from kindergarten through 12th grade. So what do we need to do? Let me talk about some of the things that we need to do. We've had so many wonderful things said tonight, and so I'm not going to say all those things I was going to say because you already, you've already heard all of those. But I just want to talk about two things, and that is comprehensive health education from kindergarten through 12th grade. So we look at education issues, and look at issues related to access to services. If we think about the education issues, we think, well, reading, writing, and arithmetic, even in your state, we have young people graduating from high school with shoes that light up when they walk. And our brain, they graduate with diplomas that they can't read. Shoes that light up when they walk, and our brain that goes dead when they talk. We've got to make sure that we do a better job in accessing and dealing with all of those. And what we have to do is start with early childhood education. The best investment we can make. In any society, and we've shown that. It's early childhood education, and yet only 18% of poor children get early childhood education. And the best contraceptive in the world is a good education. So